This is Louis D. Fresh bringing it to you on a Tuesday. What we're going to be talking about this week, we're going to be looking at review. On the college segment of YouTube, we're going to be talking about reviewing our financial aid. We spoke about financial aid in detail. There we go. I can see myself a little bit better here. In detail in September of 2020. And I know that was one of my very first videos there about just bundling stuff and putting things together. I don't want to talk about it right now because this is my little intro. And but that's what I think is really important to review things. Like I said, we did the common application last time, and I know we did the SAT. We need to do the ACT. That I think is really important that we review. Reviewing is really important. Just because we say we know something, we have the information, the way that we actually have it is that we review it and go over it and make it our own. Because when you do, then that really helps your process. And the process in this case, whether you're going to college or will go to college or are in college, is that you really need to be careful about the money that you spend, because you don't want to get yourself into financial debt already in your early 20s. So that's why we're going over this. This is why we did this on Tuesday in our social media, and I mentioned, hey, we're going to look and review our financial aid. And on Thursday, this past Thursday, we mentioned the 4 prongs, which is I like that word prong. The 4 prongs of bundling your aid. In other words, your federal, I'm talking about the United States, the federal aid. We talked about the state aid, your region aid, and the school itself, its aid, and their own scholarships. And we spoke about the private scholarships, and that's what I'm going to review, and I'm going to show this to you. And for those, this is just an example, because this is what I do in the school that I volunteer and help out in. And I think it's important that whoever your counselor is, or wherever you are in this process, whether you're in school, whether you're going to school, whatever it is, that you be aware that these things exist, that there are people like myself here to help you to get it all together. And so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just review. That's all we're doing. But before we review, I'm just showing this to you because this is a preview of what we're going to be talking about next in the month of December in terms of college. We're going to be talking about college fairs in the school that I was helping out in. You'll notice here that we did a college fair. I set up a college fair on that day. And so, and there were 40 colleges. You see the big old list there. And even though this is not about college fairs, that is really one of the premier ways of getting to know colleges. And that's why we're going to spend 2 videos on that in December, college fairs. This is really what I wanted to talk about. This is, I made this up, I can't lie, about 3 years ago. About 3 years ago. And I just kind of add or subtract to it or change dates around. This is something that a lot of college websites, high school websites, people that help out with the college process, they have these things here for financial aid. Again, since we're reviewing, number 1, which I mentioned in my social media, is federal aid. You need to notice that the site for it is called FAFSA.ed.gov. And the reason I didn't do a little Canva presentation is that because I really wanted to show you authentically how it is that these kids, at least in the school that I help out in, that they actually will see the stuff. And this is indeed hyperlinked. This right here is hyperlinked. And before you go to the site, you need to go to here, which we're going to go in 2 seconds. It's called the FSA ID. And this is really important because you're going to create a username and a password to sign in to your FAFSA. And your family, whoever it is, your mom, dad figure, your guardian, needs an FSA ID. And you need an FSA ID in order to get to the FAFSA. I just want to briefly show it to you again during our review session. Again, as we continue our review session, here it is. Student, if you need to write it down, or take a picture of it from the video. Studentaid.gov, you see federal student aid, and then you are going to create an account. I'm like looking over here. Create an account, because you're going to create an FSA ID here, which would be an email. Again, remember your email being appropriate. If you have a silly email, a suggestive email, make sure that you just have a clean email just for, honestly, I would have a whole email just for this, because I know I have a whole email just for YouTube. And so I think it's really important. And my social media has a separate email, the one email that I'm referring to. It's actually loudeshap@gmail.com. That's just for social media. And you're going to create a password. I will use a similar password that you use for most things. So this way you don't forget it, and make sure that you and your mom, dad, relative have a FSA ID, 2 separate FSA IDs. And again, in our review here, that is the actual website. Notice it's .gov, not .com, for the FAFSA, the free application for financial student aid. And if you are starting out, you're going to start here. And the reason why you're going to start here, and I'm going to click on it in 2 seconds, is because you're going to put in your FSA ID that you just created. And if you're coming back to it, you're going to log in, and they're going to ask you actually for a save key. So just some word or numbers to get back to where you were, in case you don't finish it in the one shot. But you should. It's really not that complicated. If you really sit with it, you should be done with it in about a half hour at most, really. So as I was saying right here, this is the beginning of it, and I just clicked on it. The reason I paused is because I wasn't sure if I had a student's information there, because my students use this all the time, my laptop here. But you'll notice here, once you click on I'm a student, want access to the FAFSA form, you're gonna log in to continue. You've already created the FSA ID, so this way you can log right in, and you can get started and get rolling. Let's continue with the second prong, again, in our review of financial aid for college. Again, I really want to make sure that you understand this is a review, so that's why I'm not going in depth. I want you to notice dates. I actually put date down, the same thing for the FAFSA. It starts on October 1st. I want you to notice, again, I put a link here for this. I live in the state of Florida here in the United States of America, and our state aid that's actually sponsored by the lottery is here it's called the Florida Bright Futures. And I want you to notice that there are 2 separate awards. And what's cool about it is that number has actually gone up by about I think it's about $200, so I need to update that. But you can make about just under $6,500 for your good GPA, your good SAT, ACT. In this state, we need community service hours, and that's all you really need, and that's literally all you need. And so with that, you will get that kind of money, and that goes towards your tuition. And then also, if you don't reach the 3.5, which is the B+, if you have the 3.0, which is about a B, and roughly those SAT and ACT scores and the hours of community service, you will get that amount of money, and that has gone up to just under $5,000. And what I mean by 30 credits, again, that's 10 classes at 3 credits each, so that's a school year. That's all free money. That is per year. Notice the key word there, per year. So you're talking about a lot of money if you just fill out the Florida Bright Futures. And once you fill out that Florida Bright Futures and you attain those things, you get this money, and it's absolutely free. So I want you to notice, whatever your state is, what is required for you to get state aid. And then as we continue with step 3, I mentioned each college has a financial aid website. Every college has something unique. Let me click on this one so you can see what I'm talking about. In our review, I want to give you a silly example so it makes sense. Let's say Louis D. Fresh, Louis, my name, right? Let's say I'm a millionaire, and let's say that I want to give money to the school, FIU, Florida International University, and I want that to be a scholarship for future students for Florida International University, right? And I only want it for them, so I want to name it the Louis D. Fresh Scholarship, right? And that's unique just to that school. And the only people that can get that scholarship are people that are going to go to that school, FIU, Florida International University. That's what I mean by institutional aid, that every school has scholarships that are unique to that school that no other school has, as just for that school. I gave you a silly example of Louis D. Fresh Scholarship because that's what I'm talking about. They're unique to the school. And as I press a few buttons there, all you have to do is literally keep clicking things that say scholarship, scholarship. Notice again, as an example, FIU scholarships. These are unique scholarships to this particular school. And that's why I didn't do a Canvas slide, because I wanted to show you really this is authentic stuff. These are scholarships just for this particular school. And you'll notice that there's a ton of scholarships that are just for this school. So this is why it's important that you start taking out, wow, I can't know how many there are. How many scholarships, and notice the amount of money that it starts to add up. You can get as many of these as you can. I mean, there's no limit to it. So, okay, that was the limit there. And so I think it's critically important that you do the institutional aid, all the schools that you're applying to, check out their scholarships. And last but not least is the private scholarships. I think these are very, very underutilized. And this again is free money. I'm just going to show you these two quick examples. I know I've done these in the past in September of 2020, but I just want to show them to you again because it's free money. This is FastWeb. This is my favorite site. There are tons of. I'm just going to click on it. I think my hand is behaving itself. So let me click on scholarships. Not yet. Scholarships. Find scholarships. Let's click on it and see what we got. Oops. And then you see here you can register for scholarships. You're gonna want these scholarships sent to your email because you're gonna get them every single day. And you get scholarships and sent. And let's see if I get more, if I get what I'm looking for. And you could find scholarships, and they are 100% free. Any of that word scholarship, grants, internships, yeah, but because internship is a different animal that I'll talk about in the future. But scholarships and grants, they are 100% free. These are tons and tons of scholarships that are available to you for free. And again, I spoke about this in September of 2020, scholarships.com. These are just two. There's tons of these things. Scholarship search, you see you can look up scholarships. And if I go back, a scholarship directory, you will see based on your whatever, your major, your ethnicity, your financial need, your gender, a gender really, because I know a lot of people are transgender and, he, she, thingamajig, and all of that. Physical disabilities, like I know my son's silly, but I wear glasses. That's a physical disability. Things of that nature, your religion. There are tons and tons and tons and tons of scholarships. So I want you to be aware that there are these scholarships. And to wrap up this video in this review is that number one, you're going to be doing FAFSA, the financial aid for the nation, and that'll net you about $6,500. Two, you're going to be doing things for your state, your region, wherever you happen to be. It's all free state money. Like for us, it's the Florida lottery, and that it ends up being like another $6,500 to $5,000, or $5,000. So that's right there. If you do the math, that's about $13,000 right there. Number three, you're going to have money from the colleges that you actually apply to, as I showed you in the FIU example, that are unique to the school, that could range from a full ride, a full scholarship, to maybe $1,000. So let's say another $1,000, that gives us up to $14,000 because we're bundling them. And number four is that we're going to be doing the private scholarships, such as scholarships.com and FastWeb. Let's say you get another, for fun, $2,000 each. For each of just those two sites. So that's 2,000, 4,000, 13,000. That's 17,000 plus that other $1,000, $18,000. Just and I'm being nice. And let's say your tuition, like including room and board for a state school, they're state funded school, like a Florida State University, University of Florida, in my home state of New York, the SUNY's State University of New York. That $18,000 covers everything. That covers your room and board. It covers your tuition, and you're scot-free, just on those simple examples. And if you make extra and you have money left over, you know where that goes? Into your pocket. So that's why this is a quick review of financial aid, and you make it a great day.